Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is a paid request for Walker. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thought streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, or full playthrough, tier list ranking, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And Walker wanted me to react to his ranking of the Pierre Morel films. Now, well, the thumbnail will tell you who he is, but for those who don't know, Pierre Morel is the guy who directed the first Taken. He also directed From Paris with Love with John Travolta, District 13, Peppermint, Canary Black, Freelance with John Cena, The Gunman with Sean Penn. He's directed, I guess, about 7 films, or at least 7 that he listed here. And he wanted me to react to his ranking, and I'm sure probably wants me to do my own. But as he puts it here, I don't really care about the bottom 4 movies, which honestly I agree with. Just the 4 movies he listed, I don't really care for either. So his rankings is number 7, The Gunman with Sean Penn. He thinks that's the worst one the director's done. I don't think it's the worst one the guy has done, because I do think at least that has a cast with like Sean Penn, Javier Bardem. I want to say Idris Elba or someone like that is in it. I could be wrong. But I do remember the casting being pretty decent. It's just the story was as basic as you could get. And the action was not as satisfying as it could or should have been. So just came off as more generic. And it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of action in it. Like, there's a severe lack of action throughout it. And so it just came off as a bit of a dull bag. But again, do I think it's the worst of the 7? No. I think the other 3 after this are worse. But do I like the film? No. So I don't think it's the worst. It would not be my number 7 on the list, but that's his. And I don't like the film, so it's not like I'm going to get that mad about it or anything. Number 6, he put Freelance with John Cena. I think that's the worst that this director has done. And I would put that dead last. I would easily watch The Gunman over Freelance. Just Freelance is John Cena. I'd rather watch Sean Penn in the lead than John Cena as the lead. John Cena has no charisma. He has no presence. He has no it factor. I don't buy him as a tough guy. I don't buy him as a badass. I don't buy him anything. I can't, because I can't see him. He ain't there. Yeah, he ain't there because there's nothing there. Not even the fucking air. John Cena is a nobody. He is an overrated wrestler. Overrated in every step of the way. I don't get why all these people, from Jim Cornette to all these guys, give John Cena his flowers and praise. I'm like, why? He sucks on the mic. He sucks in the ring. Lost count how many times he's botched a move, but he gets the pass. I don't buy him in anything that motherfucker does. He sucks. He's terrible. He's horrible. I fucking hate it. Do not like him at all. Never did. And then like it's trying to be like a comedy, but it fails. Christian Slater's in it. He's given nothing to do. I'm surprised they didn't make him to a bad guy, because I thought that's what they were going to do, but they didn't. So I'll give credit where credit's due. They didn't do that, and that was a nice surprise. But other than that, I thought it was I did a review of it. I went more in depth in it. Very lame movie. I think that's the worst one he's done. Canary Black is number 5. Which again, he said the bottom 4 movies he doesn't really care about. I agree. I don't care about Canary Black either. I think that's his second worst film. So I would put Freelance number 7. I would put Canary Black number 6. But he puts it number 6, number 5. So Canary Black number 5. I would put that as number 6. Because I think it's the second worst the guy has done. Again, very generic, by the numbers plot. Here's the thing. If you looked at the first Taken film, you could easily argue that's a by the numbers plot. A guy's daughter's kidnapped. It goes to rescue the daughter. Goes here, goes here, goes here. But you have the right lead actor and style and the right amount of action, and when it's there, it hits. Taken, we'll get to that, but I think the director just hasn't adapted to how action films work nowadays. In the style, I'm not saying you have to make it just like John Wick, but we've just seen so many action films that do a better job, have more action, have more unique action, crazier choreography, that the stuff that's in Canary Black just comes off as very tame, run-of-the-mill, and antiquated. Kate Beckinsale, I don't know what accent she was going on, at least early on in the film. I don't know what accent she was going on with. And it felt very dull. There's not much life to it. I did Canary Black. Sounds like a fucking DC superhero flick. So, unless you're a diehard Kate Beckinsale fan from the days of Underworld. Yeah. But I did review that if you want to know more of an in-depth thoughts on it. Number 4, Peppermint. That's the one with Jennifer Garner. I just try to like be her version of the Punisher. Yeah, that one I didn't really care for either. That was weird that the people that she seemed the most pissed about, she kind of kills off screen, and it's never explained how she became who. Her family gets killed. Then it cuts to there's this trial. It doesn't work out. She's labeled a lunatic. They're ready to put her to an asylum. She escapes. Then it cuts 2 years later. Doesn't really explain in a good way how the hell she became as good as a John Wick, Frank Castle Punisher type of firearms, tactics, disarming. I mean, where the fuck did all this come from? I know there's escapism and there's suspension of disbelief, but this was pushing it very much so. And there's a couple of OK action. There's one in like a... Was it Pinata? I forget what it is. Why do I want to say a Pinata factory? I forget where it was. See, that's the thing, it's so forgettable. But yeah, this wasn't for me. I would put it above Freelance and Canary Black because I do think the action seems a little bit better in Peppermint compared to Canary Black and Freelance. Jennifer Garner does what she can. I don't think it's this amazing performance, but it is what it is. So I guess if for the I would put Freelance as 7, Canary Black as 6, Peppermint as 5, and Gunman as 4. So I guess really I would just push everything down, and Gunman I would put at 4. But do I agree with them being at the bottom 4? Absolutely. And do I really like any of those 4? No. So I'm in agreement with Walker on that, so I can't complain. Next up is technically District B13 is the title, although it has been called District 13. It's more of a French film. Luc Besson produced it. And actually, this is the film that there was a remake of with Paul Walker called Brick Mansions, where David Bell played his role from the original. And they're very much into parkour, which is very cool to look at. Going up and down and around the buildings and stuff. Which is easily the main attraction to the film. Now, I do like Brick Mansions more, just for the fact that I like Paul Walker, and that was just made it more appealing to me. But I give credit to the original for, again, the various parkour sequences, and it just looks cool with how they're able to do that. Go up and down and around the corners and the walls and stuff. So I do think there's some good action scenes in there. That's worth a watch if you're an action fan. Some very good stunt work. So I can understand that being number 3. I would agree with that. Number 2, From Paris with Love with John Travolta. Agreed. I think that's Pierre Morel's second best film after number 1. From Paris with Love I always enjoyed. That was a film where it starred Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, which I always thought was kind of one of the knocks against the film is, okay, I think he does fine. Would I preferred someone else playing his role? Sure. I'm trying to look, what else has he done since then? So he was in Mission Impossible 3. He was in Six Souls. A bunch of films I've never even heard of. Oh yeah, Operation Blood Hunt with Rampage Jackson. I reviewed that. That's right. Yeah, Quentin Rampage Jackson. I remember that. I reviewed that. He was in The Cleanup Crew with Antonio Banderas. He was in Mercy with John Voight, I guess, was in the film. 97 Minutes with Alec Baldwin. Ambush with just Aaron Eckhart in the film. Yeah, a lot of these films, The Good Neighbor, but I'm thinking of a different Good Neighbor. This is a different one. So a lot of like direct-to-video films that something with John Malkovich, The Survivalist. So I guess, somehow he got a way to be a direct-to-video star, and most of these films I either haven't seen or don't remember. But yeah, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. He works for the CIA. He's got to work with this guy who's a bit more of a rebel, played by John Travolta. What makes the film work is that's a film that the action, when it happens, it felt like they had maybe a bit more of a budget or a little bit more of a style to it, and so it felt more memorable. And John Travolta was having so much fun. He was having a ball. He knew what kind of film it was, and he was having so much fun. Loud, boisterous, vulgar, just so much energy that watching John Travolta, the fun was infectious when you're watching him just go to town and have fun. He's what made that film work. So I do like From Paris with Love. And of course, number one is Taken. And yes, like his list, I agree with a lot of it. Taken, For Paris with Love are the two best ones. The third one would be District B13. He says, I don't like Taken 2 and 3 much. They feel dull by comparison, but they have some good scenes. The first Taken is great. I don't think Taken 2 or 3 have good scenes, but I agree. I don't like Taken 2 and 3 as well. I agree they do feel dull. Because Taken 2 and 3 suck. They're from a different director. The same guy who did Transporter 3 and Columbiana. Oliver Megatron. I remember his last name almost sounded like a fucking Transformer. I think it's Megaton, but I always called him Megatron. Because he would be a fucking bad guy in a movie with his fucking director. I mean, he's way worse. He's never made a good film. Olivier Megaton of shit. Just Taken 2 and 3 is like the editing is god awful. You can't tell what the fuck's happening. It's schizophrenic ADD editing. This guy doesn't know how to direct action. The first Taken, I remember when it first came out, it was like 2008. And hearing about it, I'm like, okay, what's the big deal with this? Just a lot of times when people hype up a film, I kind of ease away from it because, okay, they're not hyping up so much, and then I'm going to watch, I'm going to go, what the fuck's the big deal? So I didn't watch it in theaters. I watched it at home. And I think it was when 2008 would have been when I worked at the video store. It was there available to rent. I watched it. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And so good that I bought the film. Got the film, watched it again. I'm like, oh, this is really good. Because Liam Neeson, who at that point had not done a whole lot of action. He had been in stuff like Darkman, maybe Rob Roy or something. But, I mean, he wasn't known for doing these kind of fighting, martial arts, gunplay. Liam Neeson wasn't known for that at all. So it felt refreshing to see him doing this. And he had that voice, he had that intensity, yeah, that phone call where you certain set of steals, I will find you and I will kill you. You really felt that intensity. You go, ooh, okay, that's a special scene. That's lightning in a bottle. I think that's what the first Taken was. Lightning in a bottle. That's why no sequel. Not only were they done piss poorly, but it could never compete with it. And it moved at a really good pace. The action amped up more and more, and you had enough of it to satisfy the audience. Punching a guy over and over in the back of a car, or getting these moves and takedowns, and the editing was manageable. The editing wasn't too schizophrenic. It wasn't too confusing, like in later films, later sequels. Yes, you just say it's a basic plot. A guy's daughter is kidnapped. He's got to go rescue the daughter. Hell, I have the juggler with James Brolin back in the day. That was Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1985. Oh, and then the girls in Human Trafficking, which nowadays there's tons of films that have gone that route. Some better, like Life After Fighting. Some... What was the last film I saw that had that fucking plot in it? I forgot. It was some director streaming movie. I'm like, really? This is what it's about? Again? I forgot what it was called. But Taken hit the spot. And you know what? I want to see the original Taken again. I do really want to rewatch. It's too bad Walter didn't request that. Because he did request, thank you, Walker, by the way, Canary Black, Peppermint, Freelance. I think he did Freelance, did he? I know he did Canary Black and Peppermint. But I think because I have an old review of Taken, so that's why. But I do want to rewatch that sometime, the first Taken, because it's been forever since I've seen it. But very good film, from what I remember. Very fun. My favorite Liam Neeson film. He did all these action films, and some of them are good. I would say Nonstop, Walk Among the Tombstones, which that's a film that grew on me. When people say a film you watched, and then you watch it again and you like more, a Walk Among the Tombstones would be another example. It's funny, when people ask a question like that on stream, I go blank, but then like days, weeks later, oh yeah, that film, and then I'll forget the next time someone asks me on a stream. So if you watch these and you're in a stream, feel free to remind me. Yep, that's right, you know. But yeah, Taken, very good film. I'm not going in too much detail because it's not a review for Taken. It's this list, but yeah, I mean, I don't have much to complain. I mean, the last four films I don't like, I would just say that I would not put The Gunman as the worst. I would say Freelance. I would put that ahead of Peppermint, and then everyone else, goes back down. Like Taken number 1, I agree. From Paris with Love number 2, I agree. District B13 number 3, I agree. 4, I would put The Gunman. Then yes, Peppermint, Canary Black, Freelance. Yeah, so most of this I agree with. So there you go. Very cool. We're kind of on the same lead in this, so there you go. Thank you once again, Walker, for your kindness and your generosity. I really, really appreciate it, Walker. Hopefully you enjoyed. God, it makes me want to rewatch that film, take it again. But thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.